All right, Shakespeare fans, are you ready for this? We're doing King Lear. Today we're going to do a deep dive into Act 1, Scene 1. So you're totally prepped for any class discussion or, well, just to have those aha moments that make Shakespeare so amazing.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
We're going to unpack all the juicy drama, the tragedy, the everything. Because let's face it, King Lear, uh, it's a family drama,
Oh.
to say the least.
Oh, for sure. It goes way off the rails, like way worse than any family argument I've ever seen.
So, okay, let's jump right in. First, we got to set the stage, like literally what's happening.
Okay, so picture this. King Lear, he's getting old, right?
Yeah, he's ready to retire.
Yeah, and he decides, hey, I'm going to divide my kingdom. And he's got 3 daughters, Goneril, Regan, and Cordelia.
Seems simple enough so far, right?
You'd think so, but, well, here comes the Shakespearean twist.
Yeah, like, he doesn't just split it equally.
No, not at all. He comes up with this, like, love test. Basically, he's like, okay, daughters, tell me how much you love me, like, publicly, and whoever says it best gets the biggest chunk of the kingdom.
Which is so messed up when you think about it. I mean, can you imagine being put on the spot like that?
Total recipe for disaster. Right. And that's where the play really takes off. This idea of appearance versus reality. Like, are the daughters being sincere or are they just saying what he wants to hear?
Oh, yeah. And we see that right away with Goneril and Regan, the 2 older daughters. I mean, they go all out, laying it on thick with the flattery.
Yeah, they're like, oh, father, my love for you is deeper than the ocean, wider than the sky.
More precious than all the jewels in the world. It's so over the top.
Like, are they talking about their dad or are they reading from a Hallmark card?
Exactly. You got to wonder, what's their motivation here? Are they really that devoted? Or are they just playing the game to win the inheritance?
And that's what Shakespeare wants us to think about. What does it even mean to love someone? Can you really put a price on it or measure it with words?
Right, because then we have Cordelia, the youngest daughter, and she's like the complete opposite of her sisters.
Oh yeah, when it's her turn, she just drops this bomb. Nothing, my lord.
I mean, talk about awkward silence. You could hear a pin drop in that room.
But it's such a powerful moment. She refuses to play the game. She's like, true love can't be summed up in some fancy speech.
It's like she's calling BS on the whole thing.
Totally. She's like, I love you, Dad, but I'm not going to perform for you. My love is real, even if I don't shout it from the rooftops.
And you know what one of my favorite lines from Cordelia is? It's when she says, I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, she's saying, look, I love you because I'm your daughter. That's my duty. But I'm not going to exaggerate it.
But, oh man, Lear does not take this well at all. Like, he completely flips out.
Yeah, he goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
He's like, fine, you're disinherited. You get nothing.
And he accuses her of being ungrateful, a wretch, like she's the worst daughter ever.
You can tell he's hurt, but his pride is also super wounded.
Like, he's so used to people fawning over him that he can't handle Cordelia's honesty.
It's tragic, right? Because you can see Cordelia's genuinely heartbroken. She's trying to explain that her love is real, but it's not something she can perform on demand. She even says, unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth.
It's like she's saying, look, I'm not good with words, but my feelings are genuine.
But Lear's too caught up in his own anger to see it. He's blinded by his need for flattery.
And that's his fatal flaw, right? His pride. It's
Yeah.
going to lead to his downfall, and it's going to drag everyone else down with him.
And speaking of people getting dragged down, we can't forget about Kent.
Oh, yeah. Lear's loyal advisor, he's the only one who has the guts to stand up to Lear.
And he pays the price for it big time.
Oh, yeah. He gets banished, too, just for trying to be the voice of reason.
Kent's like, yo, Lear, wake up. You're making a huge mistake. Cordelia's the good one here.
But Lear's not having any of it. He's like, get out, traitor.
It's crazy how Lear pushes away the people who actually care about him.
Yeah, it shows how isolated he's becoming. He's surrounded by yes men and manipulators.
So now, Lear's all alone, except for Goneril and Regan. And you know they're not going to have his best interests at heart.
Oh no, they're already plotting against him. The scene ends with them whispering about how they're going to control their dad and take all the power for themselves.
It's like they can't wait to stab him in the back. Talk about a family you don't want to be a part of.
And that's just the beginning. We've seen the cracks in Lear's character, the potential for chaos, and the seeds of betrayal are already planted.
Buckle up, because things are about to get really intense.
And then, right when you think things can't get worse for Lear, in come Cordelia's suitors. Like adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah, Burgundy and France, right? Talk about a contrast in character.
Seriously, it's like Shakespeare setting up a test for them, too.
Burgundy, I mean, He's all about the money, the status. You can practically see the dollar signs in his eyes.
Totally. So when Lear's like, oh, by the way, Cordelia's not getting any of my land, Burgundy's basically like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, he ditches her so fast.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah, poor Cordelia, right?
Yeah.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
But then we have France, who's like, wait a minute, I see something special in this woman.
He gets it.
Yeah, he understands that Cordelia's true worth isn't tied to her inheritance. He's actually drawn to her honesty.
It's like he sees right through all the drama and recognizes her inner strength.
And he has that amazing line where he says, love's not love when it is mingled with regards that stand aloof from the entire point.
Oh, that's a good one. It's like he's giving a definition of real love, right? Like it's not about what you can get out of it.
Totally. And it's such a contrast to Burgundy, who's all about the superficial stuff.
It's like Shakespeare showing us that true love is about seeing someone for who they really are, even when they have nothing material to offer.
But meanwhile, back at the ranch, Goneril and Regan, they're not exactly sitting around crying for Cordelia.
Oh no, they're like, okay, Dad's out of the picture. Time to make our move.
Their true colors are showing, big time. All that fake love they poured on Lear.
Yeah, totally gone. And it's scary how quickly they turn on him.
Like Goneril's already complaining about Lear, saying, you see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it have not been little.
Basically saying he's lost it, right? That he's too old to be in charge.
It's cold-blooded. And you can see how their hunger for power is already driving them apart. They're not even trying to hide their suspicion of each other.
It's like they're playing a game of chess, and Lear's just a pawn they're willing to sacrifice.
So much for sisterly life, right?
And you know, this scene also gives us a glimpse of another character who's going to stir up trouble. Edmund.
Ah, yes. Edmund, the illegitimate son. He's got a chip on his shoulder the size of, like, the whole kingdom.
Oh, yeah. He's not happy about being treated as less than his legitimate brother.
And he's already scheming to get what he thinks he deserves. He even has this whole soliloquy where he's basically like, watch out, world, I'm coming for what's mine.
He's like the ultimate villain in the making.
So yeah, things are definitely heating up in King Lear. We've got family feuds, power struggles, betrayal, like all the ingredients for a major Shakespearean tragedy.
And we're only in Act 1, Scene 1. Imagine what's coming next.
I know, right? It's kind of mind-blowing how much Shakespeare packs into just this one scene.
Absolutely. And it makes you realize that even though it was written centuries ago, it's still so relevant today. You know, these themes of family, betrayal, ambition, they're timeless.
Speaking of timeless themes, I've been thinking about Cordelia. Like, she's often seen as the good daughter, the innocent one. But is she really that simple?
That's a good question. There's definitely more to her than meets the eye.
Right. I mean, it's easy to put her on a pedestal like, oh, Cordelia, she's so pure. But like you said, Shakespeare's characters, they're never that black and white.
Exactly. She could have just, played the game, given Lear a few sweet words. But she didn't. So was it like this super strong sense of right and wrong? Or was there a bit of, I don't know, maybe pride in there? Like she thought she was too good for this whole love test thing. And that's what makes you keep thinking about it, right? You can see Cordelia as nothing, as her being totally honest. Like, I'm not going to lie just to win. But yeah, maybe there's a bit of stubbornness there too. Like, if you really loved me, Dad, you wouldn't need me to prove it.
And it blows up in her face, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a big risk. And it doesn't pay off, at least not at first.
Makes you wonder, was she being a little naive? Like maybe she underestimated how intense Lear would react.
Yeah, or maybe she just thought love should speak for itself, But it's a tough world out there, and sometimes words do matter.
It's a good reminder for all of us, right? Sometimes you got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
But even though Cordelia's off the stage pretty early, she's still a huge part of the play.
Oh, absolutely. Her absence is like this void. And Lear's decision to banish her, it comes back to haunt him. Big time.
It's like the whole kingdom's lost its moral compass.
Right. And without Cordelia, it's Goneril and Regan's time to shine, which is not a good thing.
Okay, so let's recap for our listeners. What are the big things we need to remember from Act 1, Scene 1?
Well, first off, pay attention to how Shakespeare uses language. I mean, he's the master. The difference between Goneril and Regan's fake flattery and Cordelia's simple honesty is huge.
It's all about how they use words.
Right.
Words can be weapons. They can be like shields.
Exactly. And then there are those big themes like power, family, loyalty. You see those all over the place in this scene, and they'll keep popping up throughout the play.
So watch out for those. And last but not least, don't be afraid to question things, to think for yourself. Don't just take the characters at face value. Try to figure out what's really going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what makes Shakespeare so cool. He makes you think.
So, to wrap things up, here's something to keep in mind as you read the rest of King Lear. Pay attention to the choices that the characters make. Think about how their actions shape their own lives and the lives of everyone around them.
Because in the end, King Lear is all about us. It's about the choices we make, the mistakes we make, and how we deal with the consequences.
It's a story that's been around for centuries, but it still feels so relevant today. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Act 1, Scene 1. We'll be back soon to tackle even more Shakespeare.